Good morning. Let me ask you a serious question. Do you want to live the same story for the next 10 years, or are you ready to turn the page? Because a new life is not something you stumble upon. It's something you build. Starting a new life doesn't begin on the outside. It starts in the mind. You don't need permission from the world. You need permission from yourself. Tell yourself, I am done with the old version of me. The first step, forgive yourself. You made mistakes. You failed. You trusted the wrong people. So what? That's called being human. But don't let that define you. Let it educate you. Then change your environment. Don't stay in places that shrink you. Go where you're challenged, where you're pushed to grow. Even if it means leaving comfort behind, especially then. But don't wait for the perfect moment. There is no right time. The clock is ticking. Start small, wake up earlier, learn a new skill, change one habit. Small actions rewrite big futures. And remember, you can't build a new life with the same old people who doubted your dreams. Cut the noise. Find those who believe in progress, not perfection. This is your moment, not next year, not next month, now. Because starting a new life isn't about escaping the old one. It's about finally becoming the person you were always meant to be. Thank you. One of the biggest barriers to starting a new life is not what lies ahead, but what's still holding on behind you, the past. The failures, the heartbreaks, the missed opportunities, the regrets. We carry it like a backpack full of bricks, and we wonder why it's so hard to move forward. The truth is simple. You cannot drive your life forward while staring into the rearview mirror. The past is over. It has already played its role. It has already taught its lesson. And now, it's time to move on. But let's be clear, moving on doesn't mean ignoring what happened. It means learning, growing, and detaching from the emotional weight of it. There's a difference between remembering and reliving. You can remember your mistakes without chaining yourself to them. You can reflect on what went wrong, understand why it happened, and use that knowledge to build a better future. But you cannot allow it to define who you are now. Some people think they need to feel guilty longer in order to be strong. They believe that carrying the shame of their past makes them responsible. No, it just makes them stuck. Guilt has a purpose, but it's not a lifestyle. Pain is a signal, not a sentence. Once it has done its job, teaching you, humbling you, sharpening your awareness, its time is up. You're not meant to live inside yesterday's storm. Many people waste years trying to rewrite history in their heads. If only I had made that choice. If only I hadn't trusted that person. If only I hadn't failed that opportunity. The truth is, you didn't know what you know now. And that version of you did what they could with the tools and mindset they had at the time. Blaming yourself for being a beginner, for being naive, for being emotional. That's not strength, that's self-sabotage. Don't linger where the pain is familiar. Don't stay where the hurt makes you feel at home. Some people build their identity around their past wounds and mistakes, as if that's the only thing real about them. They talk about the same story over and over again. They relive the betrayal, the loss, the embarrassment, until it becomes their personality. But you're not here to replay a tragedy. You're here to create transformation. What happened is already written, but how you carry it, that's the part you still control. You can either use your past as an anchor or as a foundation. You can let it weigh you down, or you can stand on top of it. You can choose to see it as something that broke you or something that built you. That choice is the beginning of a new life. And make no mistake, the past will try to whisper back to you. It will come through old photos, old memories, familiar places, and familiar voices. It will test you. It will tempt you to return to who you used to be, to that version of yourself who didn't know better. But now you do know better. And knowing better is the beginning of doing better. Growth is not about forgetting the past. It's about mastering it. It's about extracting the lesson and throwing away the poison. It's about being honest with yourself. About what happened, what you did, what others did, but not becoming bitter. Bitterness only rots your future. Forgiveness is not always about others. Sometimes you need to forgive yourself first, for not seeing the signs, for ignoring your own value, for staying too long, for acting too fast. But after that forgiveness, there must be movement. Forward. Always forward. If your mind is a garden, then your environment is the soil. You can have the strongest seed of ambition, the deepest roots of potential, and the most beautiful vision of what you want in life. But if you plant it in toxic soil, it won't grow. Your surroundings shape your thoughts, and your thoughts shape your future. That's why when people say they feel stuck, uninspired, or lost, the first place to look is not within. It's around. We are not born with fixed mindsets. We absorb them. We learn them. We pick them up from what we hear every day, who we talk to, what we watch, what we believe is normal. If you're surrounded by people who complain, you'll start complaining. If you're in an atmosphere where nobody dares to dream, you'll shrink your own goals to fit in. If your daily routine is full of noise, distraction, and negativity, don't be surprised if your thoughts begin to reflect the same chaos. It's not about blaming others. It's about being aware. If you want to rise to a new level in life, you can't grow in the same place that made you feel small. Comfort zones are built from familiarity, not from progress. They are the silent killers of potential. The people you talk to every day, the content you consume, the habits in your space, they all become part of your belief system. And if they're not challenging you, inspiring you, or stretching you, then they are silently stalling you. You don't need to cut everyone off or run away. But you need to evaluate who and what is in your environment. Is it lifting you or limiting you? Is it building your confidence or breaking it down piece by piece? Are the conversations you're having helping you think bigger or making you doubt your ability to even try? The environment is not just about people. It's about energy. It's about the books on your shelf, the voices in your ear, if the goal's on your wall. If you're in a room where no one talks about growth, create a new room. If you're in a job that drains your creativity, start using your evenings to build something new. If you're in a house full of distractions, redesign your space for focus. Don't underestimate what a shift in atmosphere can do to your mindset. Success is not an accident. It is engineered. And the first tool in that construction is your environment. Do what successful people do. They build systems around themselves that force growth, not comfort. They surround themselves with others who challenge their thinking, question their excuses, and inspire their vision. They set routines that protect their time, guard their focus, and feed their minds. If your environment does not support your future, then you are being trained for a life you do not want. Exposure is power. When you get around people who are doing more, who are thinking bigger, who are living boldly, it rewires your brain. It creates a new normal. It shows you what's possible. Suddenly, the goals you thought were too big become the floor instead of the ceiling. But here's the truth most people don't want to face. Changing your environment requires courage. It means leaving some people behind. It means letting go of the routine that made you feel safe but stuck. It means stepping into the unknown, into rooms where you might feel like the least experienced person. That's okay. That's where growth happens. You don't grow by being the smartest person in the room. You grow by being the most curious one. In today's world, everyone is chasing the next big thing. The next idea, the next breakthrough, the next moment of motivation. There's too much hype and not enough foundation. People get excited for a few days, post about their goals, declare they're changing their lives, and then nothing changes. Why? Because hype fades. Habits don't. Motivation is great. It's the spark. But if you depend on motivation to build a new life, you'll only move when you feel like it. And most of the time, you won't feel like it. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. Habits don't ask for your emotions. They run on routine, on systems, on repetition. The people who build real success are not the most excited ones. They are the most consistent ones. Success is not built in a day. It's built daily. You don't become disciplined by making grand declarations. You become disciplined by showing up when it's boring, when it's uncomfortable, when nobody is clapping, the gym session when you're tired, the study hour when you feel uninspired. The work you put in when no one is watching. That's what builds character. That's what builds results. The problem is hype is addictive. It gives you a quick hit of energy, a temporary sense of progress. You talk about your goals, you feel good, you imagine the future, but talking is not doing. Dreaming is not building. Only action creates change. And action, repeated with discipline, becomes a habit. Habits are not exciting in the beginning. They're quiet. They're often unnoticed. But they are powerful. Because while hype burns out fast, habits compound. One small action, done every day, becomes a force that shapes your identity. You don't need to change everything overnight. You just need to change something consistently. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is rarely talent. It's the ability to do the boring stuff every single day without losing focus. The world is full of talented people who never made it, not because they weren't good enough, but because they didn't stick long enough. They chased excitement, not structure. Hype, not habit. If you want to change your life, ask yourself one question: what are you doing daily? Because what you do occasionally doesn't shape your future. What you do daily does. And if your daily routine is full of distractions, inconsistency, and excuses, then no amount of ambition will save you. You don't need more hype. You need systems. Wake-up routines, focus blocks, workout schedules, deep work hours, reflection time. These are the bricks of a strong mindset. When you rely on hype, you become a slave to energy. When you build habits, you take control of your direction. The truth is, it's not hard to start. What's hard is staying in it when it stops being exciting. But that's the test. Anyone can be great for a day. Few people can be disciplined for a year. Habits turn pressure into power. They take goals from the imagination and anchor them into reality. Every successful person you admire is simply a result of repeated actions that most people weren't willing to commit to. They didn't get there by being lucky once. They got there by being committed always, by doing what needed to be done even when it felt small or unnoticed. Because over time, those small actions grow into big results. Real transformation begins when you stop chasing the hype and start building the structure. When your actions become automatic. When your schedule becomes non-negotiable. When your discipline becomes stronger than your moods. That's when your life begins to shift from dreams to direction, from talk to traction, from potential to power. Everybody wants to live a big life. Everyone wants success, freedom, impact, and growth. But the mistake most people make is waiting for the perfect moment to begin. They believe they need more money, more time, more connections, more clarity. So they wait and wait until years pass by and nothing changes. The truth is, you don't need to have it all figured out to begin. You just need to start small. Big dreams are powerful, but they are useless without action. And that action almost always starts small. One idea, one task, one step forward. That's how momentum is built. Every successful journey begins with a humble beginning. It's not about launching perfectly. It's about starting. Don't overthink the beginning. Don't underestimate the value of starting where you are with what you have. The mistake is believing that starting small is somehow weak. That if something isn't big, it doesn't matter. But the greatest businesses in the world, the most successful careers, the most extraordinary transformations, they all started with small actions that were repeated, improved, and scaled. You start small not because you want to stay small, but because that's how big is built. Big is just small that never quit. But don't stop at starting. Dream big. You need a vision so strong that it pulls you through the pain, through the delays, through the self-doubt. Big dreams stretch your capacity. They force you to grow into a version of yourself you didn't even know existed. If your dream doesn't scare you a little, it's not big enough. You're not here just to survive. You're here to create, to lead, to build something meaningful. And when you have the dream and you've started, even if it's small, move fast. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for applause. Speed matters. Not because you have to rush, but because time doesn't wait. The longer you sit on an idea, the more you second guess it. The more you delay, the more fear grows. The faster you act, the quicker you learn. The quicker you fail, the quicker you adapt. Speed is your advantage in a world that moves fast. Too many people get stuck in planning, strategizing, and over-preparing. The real learning happens after you start. Not before. You don't need to know everything to take the first step. You learn by doing, failing, adjusting, and doing it again. Execution will always beat perfection. The person who moves wins. The person who hesitates watches. Start with what you can control today. Make the call. Build the prototype. Launch the channel. Write the post. Send the email. Create the habit. Don't wait to be ready. Most of the time, you become ready by doing the thing that scares you. Clarity comes through action, not thought. Confidence is built by progress, not pep talks. Dreams are not meant to stay in your head. They are meant to be lived. But to live them, you must act. Even if it's messy, even if it's uncertain. You don't climb a mountain in one leap. You take one step, then another, then another. But you keep your eyes on the peak. Your small steps must be guided by a big dream, and your big dream must be chased with urgency. When you combine the humility to start small, the courage to dream big, and the boldness to move fast, you become unstoppable. You stop living in the shadows of someday and begin building a life that reflects your true potential. It's not about where you begin. It's about how quickly you grow once you do. The people around you are either pouring into your vision or poking holes in it. They are either helping you build or slowly tearing you down. Success is never just about talent, strategy, or luck. It's also about environment. And at the center of that environment are the people you allow into your circle. You must protect that circle like your future depends on it. Because it does. Every dream needs fuel. But if you're surrounded by people who constantly doubt you, criticize your progress, or laugh at your ideas, you will start to shrink. Even the strongest mindset can be weakened if it's soaked in the wrong energy every day. Words are powerful. Reactions are powerful. And sometimes the most damaging thing isn't what people say to your face, it's what they never say at all. Their silence, their lack of support, their refusal to celebrate your growth. That's how they break you without saying a word. You need to identify the builders in your life. The ones who push you forward, who challenge you to level up, who believe in you even when you doubt yourself. Builders aren't just cheerleaders. They're honest. They give feedback, they tell the truth, but they do it to help you grow, not to destroy your spirit. Builders don't get jealous when you succeed. They get inspired. And they make you feel like you can do more, be more, reach higher. Then there are the breakers. The people who always have a reason why your idea won't work. The ones who hide their insecurity by laughing at your ambition. The ones who never try anything themselves, but are quick to judge you for trying. Some breakers act like friends, but they aren't rooting for your growth. They're comfortable with your struggle. Because your growth threatens their comfort. Breakers aren't always loud. Sometimes they're subtle. They disguise criticism as realism. They plant doubt in the name of being practical. They lower your expectations and call it protecting you. But if you look closely, their pattern is always the same. They want you to stay exactly where you are. They don't want you to fail. But they definitely don't want you to outgrow them either. You have to be bold enough to walk away from that energy. You cannot become who you're meant to be while staying surrounded by people who only know the old version of you. Growth is uncomfortable. It's meant to be. And sometimes it means losing people who were never meant to be part of your next chapter. Start auditing your circle. Who energizes you? Who drains you? Who brings solutions when you talk about your goals? Who only brings fear and doubt? If you talk about dreams and someone changes the subject, that's not your team. If you talk about starting something new and they instantly list the risks, not the possibilities, that's a red flag. Pay attention. The company you keep is shaping the future you're stepping into. Seek out builders. They're not always flashy or loud. Sometimes they're the quiet ones who are working hard, staying consistent, building brick by brick. They're busy leveling up, not tearing others down. When you find them, stay close. Learn from them. Share ideas. Build together. Growth multiplies when it's shared with people who are also on the rise. You become like the people you spend the most time with. Their mindset will rub off on you. Their habits will influence yours. If you're surrounded by lazy people, don't be surprised if you lose your drive. If you're surrounded by negative thinkers, don't be shocked when your vision starts to fade. But if you're around builders, people who think big, move fast, and stay focused, you'll begin to think and act like them too. In conclusion, starting a new life isn't about running away from your past. It's about stepping forward into your true potential. It begins with a decision to no longer let yesterday define who you are today. You must first accept that the past is over, learn from it, and leave it behind without allowing it to chain your progress. Then, change your environment, because where you are affects how you think, and how you think shapes how you act. Don't rely on motivation alone. Instead, build strong habits that fuel consistency, not just temporary excitement. Great transformations happen through small actions done daily. Start small, dream big, and move fast. Because the perfect time doesn't exist. Momentum matters more than perfection. Most importantly, surround yourself with builders, not breakers. The people around you will either support your growth or sabotage your progress. Protect your energy, your vision, and your time. A new life doesn't come from wishing or waiting. It comes from daily decisions, courageous actions, and a mindset ready to evolve. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to begin with focus, with discipline, and with the belief that you are capable of creating the life you truly deserve.